I was expecting to go so soon, I didn't even have a chance to take off my stylish jacket. So I must confess to you that in preparation for my story tonight, this is a true story. I've totally freaked myself out and am now sleeping with the closet light on in my bedroom. So I live in this old building that's, it was built for the World's Fair, so, you know, almost 100 years ago, and I haven't seen a ghost yet there, but I'm sure that there's somebody there walking around with ice cream cones. Just saying. Anyway, so, like many of my stories, this is another one from my childhood. I went to school, I grew up with this girl. Her name was Anne-Marie Scott. And she had this whole crazy, scary, haunted world around her, which is appropriate because she was born on Halloween. And so basically we grow up, it's the 4th grade, and her parents got a divorce. Now both of her parents decided that what they would do is sell their house and then just move to other houses. And so her father moved to this house on Holston River, which was this river that went across the north side of the neighborhood that we grew up in. And the really creepy thing about this house is, well, it wasn't actually the house, but it was the house that came with it, beside of it. Because the house that came beside of it was haunted, and it was so haunted that no one would ever want to buy it. So it was kind of like a farmhouse kind of thing. And so for her birthday one year, we were in the 4th grade, she had everybody over, we went for a hayride, and then we came back to this house and we cooked out, and then at like after dusk, it was pitch black, he took us into the field house. Now, we're all 9 years old, you know, there's like 25 of us, and he's like, before we go in, the thing you need to know is we have to be really quiet, because old man Leaping Clark won't come out if you're talking, which honestly, he probably just wanted us to be quiet, 9 years old. So, he takes us upstairs, and he tells us this super creepy story about this guy that everyone used to call Old Man Leaping Clark. And what happened was he owned all this land in northeast Tennessee, and he used it for farming, and there was this big rain one summer, and it came in, and it flooded the entire valley. And so it destroyed all this land, so now all of his land and the work that he was living on was destroyed. So he became depressed, not unlike Bernie Madoff, and he became depressed, and one night, he jumped out of the top window on the top floor. When he landed, he didn't die, he broke his leg. And the thing was, he was really insistent on not having anybody operate on the leg. You know, the doctors were insistent because it was 120 years ago, but they cut off his leg. He insisted, no, the leg will heal, I am a powerful man, and this will happen. So, needless to say, the leg ended up rotting. You know, for 2 months, staph infection set in, and he eventually died. And so if you're really quiet, and you say, "Are you there, old man Leaping Clark?" you can hear it 3 times. Just like that. And so he brings us upstairs. This is supposed to be scary, people. And he brings us upstairs, and we're all around, and he tells us this super creepy story. And then he yelled out, "Are you there, old man Leaping Clark?" And then we all heard. Just like that. It was super creepy. We instantly all were screaming, we're all running down the stairs, and I'm sure there were a few sprained ankles, and people were pooping in their pants, and 9-year-olds were crying all over the place, and 30 minutes later all the parents came to pick us up. Now the creepy part for me was that I only lived about a mile away from this place, and so my eyes were wide open. My mom picks me up, and I'm sitting beside of her on our way home, and she's like, "Well, how was it?" I'm like, "It was good, it was fun." You know, I'm thinking about it, I don't want to even think about it, you know. And so I get home, and I left like 3 lights on in my bedroom, and I didn't sleep the whole night. So I go to school the next day after that, and everybody basically had the same experience. So that was Anne-Marie's dad's side of the house. Now the thing with Anne-Marie's mom's side of the house was she moved into this super creepy A-frame house up against the mountain, which was on the south side of the neighborhood that I lived in. And there weren't any houses around it. So it was like back up against the woods, surrounded by all these trees, and she always kept German shepherds there just kind of as, you know, extra protection, so to speak. So, anyway, so I remember going up to her house when she was in the 6th grade, and my dad dropped me off, and I remember walking towards the stairs. She had these stairs that led up to the back porch of the A-frame house, and that was kind of like the front door, even though it was on the back side. So I remember walking to the stairs, and I remember seeing 2 sets of legs hiding under the stairs. And they were kind of black and white and kind of like iridescent, but I wasn't sure. It was a full moon. And so I'm like, okay, somebody's totally there to scare the crap out of me. So what I'm going to do is just play along. So I walk up there, and I go to the first step, nothing happens. Second step, I walk all the way up to the top, well, nothing happens. And I think to myself, that's odd. And so, anyway, Anne-Marie had a fellow friend over who was spending the night with her because her mom had gone out of town. And so it was Anne-Marie and her brother, who's a senior in high school, and myself. And so I didn't really think about the whole, I was like, somebody's going to scare me at some point, whatever. So I go in, and she's like, oh, well, we have the movie, it's on downstairs, so we all go downstairs. And I'm like, on guard, you know. And so then I tell her, I'm like, hey, I swear I saw some people hiding under the stairs. Are you sure there's nobody here, you know? And she's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, you know? So the night goes along, and I leave, and I go back home. It's like so odd, you know? Well, cut to the next October, and one of our mutual friends, her name was Tiffany, and her mom was an English teacher for the 6th grade in the town near Kingsport, where we grew up. And just as kind of a fun project, she had the kids write a ghost story. And somebody from her class wrote a ghost story about this A-frame house. And basically the story goes that on a full moon night in the early 60s, there were 2 high school girls that had gone hiking at the back of this mountain. They were on their way back, and this man kidnapped them. Ooh. My eyes are watering because it's so creepy. Anyway, so he kidnaps them. He keeps them in the basement. And on a full moon night, you can see him hiding under the stairs and running at the back of the mountain. Now, I did not see them run at the back of the mountain, but I definitely saw him hiding under the stairs. Cut to the next year, Anne-Marie's brother has already gone off to college. He's in Knoxville, UT Vols, not a fan, but that's where he's going to school. And anyway, so it was Anne-Marie and I were working on a school project, and her mom was cleaning windows. And we're just sitting there quietly doing our work, and all of a sudden I hear her brother yell for her mom. And Anne-Marie and her mom both just basically ignored it, and I thought, well, that's odd. And so then it happened again. I heard John say, Mom, from downstairs. And so I look at Anne-Marie, I'm like, isn't your mom going to acknowledge that her son is yelling at her? And she's like, well, I mean, he's 2 hours from here. And so come to find out, for like the 2 months previous to that, like every week or so, they would hear him yell for them. And so what they had decided was happening was the girl ghosts had manifested themselves as John and were yelling for help. Right? Super creepy. Anyway, so come to my senior year in high school. This is the last part of this little ghost story. I know you're all just like all nerved up. Buy some beer, it'll calm you down. So, anyway, like I said, it was an A-frame house. There was a beam that was connecting them 30 feet in the air. So we had this Christmas party, and they noticed the next day after the Christmas party that the ghost had hung Christmas ornaments on this beam that was 30 feet in the air. So just try and sleep on that tonight.